Welcome to The Explainer. We're here to take really deep, expert knowledge, break it all down, and then build it back up into a simple visual guide. That way, you can see exactly what you need to know, plain and simple.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? You're choosing the healthy options, you're reading all the labels, but you're just not feeling your best? Maybe your joints ache a little more, or you just don't have that same get up and go? It's super frustrating, and it's something a lot of folks over 60 run into.
Well, the reason for this is actually pretty straightforward. Your body is just different now. The rules of the game have changed. Your metabolism, your sensitivity to certain foods, how you process things, it's all shifted. So a food that was your best friend at 40 can quietly, sneakily, start working against you at 70.
So let's start where a lot of these sneaky culprits hide, your pantry. We're going to do a little pantry audit and look at some super common nuts and seeds that we all think of as healthy, but might actually be fanning the flames of inflammation.
First up, sunflower seeds. Now, don't get me wrong, they've got vitamin E, which is great, but they are loaded, and I mean loaded, with omega-6 fatty acids. Your body needs a delicate balance between omega-6 and the anti-inflammatory omega-3s. When you get way too much omega-6, you're basically fueling inflammation. A much smarter swap? Hemp seeds. They have an almost perfect balance of those fats, plus they've got GLA, which is a fantastic anti-inflammatory, especially for joint health.
And if you want to see what this looks like in numbers, check this out. The ideal healthy ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 is about 4:1. But as you can see from this chart, a diet that's heavy on sunflower seeds can send that ratio skyrocketing to 18:1 or even higher. And over time, that imbalance is what you feel as stiff joints, low energy, and even bigger cardiovascular risks.
Okay, next up, peanuts. And here's a fun fact for you. Peanuts aren't even nuts. Nope, they're legumes. And that little detail actually matters, because it makes them more likely to have these things called aflatoxins. That's a type of mold that really puts stress on your liver. Plus, they're also high in that inflammatory omega-6. The better choice, hands down, is walnuts. They are true nuts. They are packed with a brain-healthy omega-3 called ALA, and some studies have even linked them to quicker thinking in older adults. Who doesn't want that?
All right, we're done with the pantry. Let's move on over to the fridge, because you're about to see that this exact same principle, this idea of hidden risks, applies even to the foods we think are the absolute pillars of health, like fish and some of our favorite vegetables.
You see, the danger isn't always in the food itself. As we get older, context is everything. It's not just what you're eating, it's how, and crucially, when you eat it, that can make all the difference in the world.
Let's take fish. We all know omega-3s are good for us, right? But some fish can actually pose risks that start to outweigh the benefits, especially for seniors. The big predator fish, like big-eye tuna and king mackerel, they can build up high levels of mercury, which is just plain toxic for your brain. And then you have farm-raised fish, like tilapia or imported catfish, which often have that same inflammatory omega-6 problem we talked about, and can be raised with a lot of antibiotics. Okay, now this one might really surprise you. Spinach. Popeye's favorite food can actually turn against you if you eat it the wrong way. Here's how it works. Spinach has these compounds called oxalates. If you eat spinach at the same time you take, say, a calcium supplement, those oxalates can literally grab onto the calcium in your blood. When they do that, they form these teeny tiny sharp crystals, and over many years, these little crystals can build up in the small arteries in your brain, essentially clogging them up like sand in a tiny pipe.
Now, before you panic and swear off spinach forever, hold on. The good news is the solution is incredibly simple. It's all about timing. Just enjoy your spinach at lunchtime and maybe take your calcium supplement with dinner. Easy. The same idea goes for foods that can cause a little blood sugar spike, like raw carrots or watermelon. Just have them earlier in the day when your body is better at handling it. Okay, so we've covered what to be a little cautious about. Now for the fun part.
Let's build a meal that doesn't just avoid problems, but actively fights back. A meal that's literally designed to protect your arteries and support your whole cardiovascular system.
But to do that, you have to know who the enemy is. And in this case, it's something called biofilm. Just think of it like a secret little colony of microbes. They build a tiny calcium shell around themselves to hide from your immune system. And these little colonies just love to stick to any rough or damaged spots on your artery walls. And that's how hardened plaque begins to form. So, our meal's foundation is going to be wild-caught salmon. Why? Because it delivers a huge dose of those anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Their main job here is to keep the inside lining of your arteries smooth and healthy, so there are fewer of those damaged spots for biofilm to grab onto in the first place.
Next, we add our secret weapon, sauerkraut. Seriously, this stuff is a true superfood for your heart. First, it's rich in vitamin K2, which basically acts like a traffic cop for calcium in your body. It tells calcium, hey, you go into the bones and you stay out of the arteries. On top of that, the good bacteria, the probiotics, and the high vitamin C in sauerkraut can directly fight off those harmful biofilms. And to finish off this powerhouse plate, we'll build a protective salad. The base is arugula, which is great for your liver, and is also rich in nitrates that help your circulation. Then for toppings, some garlic to fight microbes, and a sprinkle of real, authentic Parmigiano Reggiano for another hit of that crucial vitamin K2. And yep, you see that right. We're adding back a small amount of sunflower seeds. This just shows that it's all about balance. We don't want them dominating our diet, but in small amounts, their vitamin E is actually really protective. So here it is, your whole artery clearing toolkit laid out. Just look at how every single ingredient is playing on the same team. We're not just eating food here. We're strategically using specific nutrients to tackle specific problems, from inflammation to calcium deposits to those sneaky biofilms.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's really simple. You are not powerless in this. In fact, you have an incredible amount of control every single time you sit down to eat. And listen, this is not about restriction. It's not about making a long list of foods you can never eat again. It's simply about being smarter. It's about understanding how your body works now and making those strategic, informed choices that will support your health for years and years to come. So here's your new action plan, boiled down into 4 simple rules. 1. Get that omega fat balance right. 2. Remember that when you eat can be just as important as what you eat. 3. Actively look for foods that are packed with vitamins K2, C, and E. And 4. Learn to love fermented foods like sauerkraut. Your gut and your heart will thank you.
But you know, having all this knowledge is one thing. Putting it into action is what really counts. So I'll leave you with a question. Based on everything we just talked about, what is one simple swap you can make on your plate this week? That's it. That's where it all begins.